College students are always at risk for bacterial meningitis, and vaccination is not 100% effective. Health reporter Christina Montserrat explains.
Jonathan Davis's scars remind him of his case of meningitis that nearly took his life 4 years ago.
They told my parents I wasn't going to make it.
After 11 days in the hospital and treatment with antibiotics, he recovered. The UNC senior is active enough now to referee youth soccer. UNC doctor David Weber says the course of bacterial meningitis is hard to predict.
It's a relatively unusual disease, but nevertheless one that causes devastating complications when it occurs.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say meningitis is an inflammation of the lining of the spinal cord or brain. It can result from either viral or bacterial infection. Meningitis symptoms may include high fever, headache, vomiting, stiff neck, and sores like those that left scars on Jonathan Davis.
College students living in dorms are at a greater risk for contracting bacterial meningitis because they live so close together.
Although immunized, Davis had a bacterial strain not covered by the vaccine. Davis's mother, Helen Davis, says the family now lives differently since her son's diagnosis and recovery.
I think we appreciate things a lot more and don't take things for granted, and just try to love each other even that much more because we just know how quick things can change.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Christina Montserrat, Carolina Week.
Davis was lucky. The CDC says 10 to 14% of bacterial meningitis cases are fatal.
Outgoing Chancellor James Measer's time as the leader of UNC is drawing to a close. He'll step down from his post June 30th, and he's spending much of this semester in reflection. I sat down with him this morning to talk about his last few months as Chancellor.
Are you feeling a little sentimental now?
Sure. Last night was my last home game in the Smith Center. So it wasn't just senior night, it was senior night for me too.
What was that like?
Well, it was nostalgic. I mean, to realize that it's not my last game in the Smith Center, but it's my last game at the third row mid-court. You know, with those fabulous seats that are one of the best perks of this job is having a parking place right outside the Smith Center and a center court seat. And you know, and to realize that the next time I come, I won't be Chancellor. So that's, yeah, there are those moments of poignancy when I realize this is the last time I'm doing that.
Is your last day going to be a day where you're really looking forward and looking at the new opportunities that lie ahead, or do you think you're going to sort of linger in the doorway and say, it's a difficult change for me?
I think it'll be both, actually.
Why? Well,
this is, looking forward, I mean, there's this sense of liberation of being in charge of my own calendar and actually having, for the first time in my whole adult life, except for one period where I had one other sabbatical, sort of the freedom of being totally in charge of what I do. And I actually can look forward to coming back as a faculty member and staying engaged. So it's not as if I'm being sent into exile, like Napoleon.
The group tasked with finding Measer's replacement is starting to whittle down the pool of potential candidates. Members of the Chancellor Search Committee have interviewed about 20 people for the position, and they hope to have their work completed by the end of the term.
Many people are breathing a little sigh of relief after yesterday's stormy weather. Ominous clouds finally swept in yesterday, dumping much-needed rain on a thirsty Chapel Hill. Neglected umbrellas and dusty raincoats finally got some attention, along with your trendy galoshes. Covered carts helped shelter strolling pedestrians from the gale-force winds, and parched drains finally had a drink to wash down backed-up debris. Unfortunately, 2 inches of rain won't do much to alleviate the drought. The reason? We were 10 inches below normal before last night, as water levels at University Lake and Cane Creek reservoirs dwindle close to 40% capacity. The Orange Water and Sewer Authority is moving to the next stage in water restrictions. Residential and business customers will incur an additional surcharge for water use. The restrictions will affect all area pools, so swimming might not be much of a recreation option this summer.
UNC is saying goodbye to one of its oldest academic buildings, Venable Hall. Workers have been hard at work clearing the area 12 hours a day and 7 days a week. The building opened in 1925 and was home to the science department for 83 years. With the new Venable building up and running, Carolina officials hope to continue to boast a competitive presence as one of the nation's premier research institutions. A campus-wide campaign to get you to watch where you walk could be leading to changes at other universities. Yield to Heels kicked off in 2006. The program's purpose is to educate everyone about safety on the roads, whether you're walking, driving, or riding a bike. Jennifer Bonchak of the Highway Safety Research Center helped start the program. She thinks Yield to Heels is doing more than just raising awareness here at Carolina.
We've actually been contacted by the University of Arkansas at Little Rock that they heard about our program, want to implement a similar one on their campus.
Program coordinators note the importance of a program like Yield to Heels on a college campus, which Bonchak says is something other universities are realizing as well.
The town of Chapel Hill has already installed 6 free wireless hotspots, and it's ready to install 4 more. Perhaps you've checked your email near the Visitors Bureau or within range of the post office. Maybe you've looked up movie listings online after dining at 411 West. For those who don't have their own laptops, the Hargrave Center offers both free wireless and free access to computers. Chapel Hill will increase the number of community hotspots, this time in residential areas.
The Republican Party has a presidential candidate in John McCain, but the Democrats are still undecided. Hillary Clinton won last night's primaries in Ohio, as well as primaries in Texas and Rhode Island. Although the race in Texas was close, Clinton's focus on the economy was enough for a win. Barack Obama was able to win Vermont, but Clinton's recovery and Obama's loss of momentum means the race is uncertain once again. There have been mixed reactions across the country, including here on campus.
I was surprised she took him. I definitely didn't see that she had momentum.
I think that's a good stop on his momentum, and I know he's pretty far ahead in delegates, but I think she could do it just by winning a couple of contests in the next couple of weeks.
Even though the North Carolina primary isn't until May 6th, our state could play a big role in determining the Democratic nominee. And we're joined now by weathercaster Johnny O.
Well, Johnny, we saw a lot of rain yesterday. Are we going to see any more in the near future?
Well, it's springtime, so there is a hit and miss chance almost every day around this time of year. But we saw a beautiful day today, but how does the rest of your week look? I'll have to look at that forecast coming up next.